and then sorting the packages and the production process. Now, the Mustaqbal Masr project is also providing over 200,000 new job opportunities, which is an excellent way of employing people in the upcoming period, and also creating services around these fields, making it possible for these workers to be able to have a better safe haven environment to work. Now, last month, President Sisi also urged an immediate implementation of the New Delta project as part of the state's efforts to form modern agricultural and urban complexes. He also have urged the tightening time frame to implement this new Delta project and integrating all implementation phases into a single phase. Now, as we said earlier, we're going to be talking more about this issue during our program today, and we are glad to have joining us over the phone Professor Sayyid Mahmoud Al-Khouli, who is the Chairman of Promotion Committee, High Supreme Council of Universities, and he's also a professor at Ain Shams University. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us, Doctor.
Alan.
Doctor, can you hear me? Dr. Sayyid.
Sure, yes.
Thank you very much for joining us. Now, of course, this is another important inspection by the President, and when we speak of the field of agriculture here in Egypt, it's an important field. We're talking about millions of people working in this field, hundreds of thousands of new job opportunities to be provided. Tell us more about this new area that is going to expect this upcoming harvesting in the upcoming period.
Let me talk about this progress in two dimensions. The first dimension is the international dimension. It's not a local indicator or not based by the government. It is international indicator. All indicate that the gross development product or the growth in Egypt has not been affected by the COVID-19 crisis. The whole region, all the country around us, they are in the negative side of the development, of the gross development product. Egypt, thank God, it's in the positive side with 3.5. And my expectation in the future, it will grow and grow in the next year and the next 2 years. That is the good news about the Egyptian economy. During COVID-19, most of the world got affected in terms of agriculture, in terms of industry, in terms of all different kinds of business. Egypt continue, which we call it as sustainable development in Egypt. More industry grow up, more factory opened in the last year or so. More roads are established where it is the infrastructure of Egypt now is able to attract foreign direct investment. Remember, all this different, talking about Dama Road, talking about the future of Egypt pharma agriculture, where about 1 million acres has been developed to bring us all the food required by the Egyptian people. We went out of this crisis with no shortage in our food supply, not shortage in our food supply, which is a good news for the government and of course for the leader of Egypt, President Sisi. And that is very important aspect our future. I believe it will be a bright future. My expectation, the next 2 years, it will show a significant improvement in our economical system. And remember, the security and safety now in all different regions or all different borders of Egypt now is safe and secure.
All right, Doctor, if we were to talk about, since you're mentioning the future here, the project's contribution in terms of boosting Egypt's exports of agricultural products, how do you see that happening?
Now we have a surplus when it comes to exporting. We export a lot of agricultural products as well of our industrial sector. And that is the good news. When we have a food surplus in terms of agriculture, it is not only the fruit and vegetables, but we manufacture what we produce from agriculture. Now we have two dimensions when it comes to agriculture. It's not only fruit and vegetable, but also we have a food process. Remember, in Dama, for example, when you go in Dama Road from Cairo to Dama, on the left-hand side of the road, it is the farm which is developed hundreds of thousands of acres. In the right-hand side, where across the road, you will find a manufacturer where they do a process to transfer the materials from agriculture to a product like many different food process products. That
Now,
is an added value for our economy.
yes, now I want to talk to you about something also important here, as the President highlighted that even as Egypt works to increase its water resources, that such projects like the one we've seen him inspecting today, that they're made possible by turning into alternative resources and modern methods of irrigation, because of course these kind of agricultural lands will require a lot of use of water. So how do you think using alternative resources or modern methods of irrigation going to be possible, and why is that essential and imperative in light of course, the water scarcity challenge Egypt is facing?
Remember, President Sisi, which I really prefer to call him, it is the only president came to Egypt when he speaks the language of all countries. He doesn't depend on only one side of the economy and he goes ignore the other side of the economy. So he's doing in all different options and all different alternative industry. We have a growing up in industry. As you recall, last week opened a lot of factory in agriculture, the same, where most of agriculture, for example, rice, consume a lot of water. We substitute that with wheat, for example, which is required. If you recall, the minister yesterday just mentioned we have a food supply in terms of wheat and sugar and all of that for hunger, for example, which will be enough for Egypt to consume for the next 6 months.
Yes.
No other country has a reserve of food supply for the next 6 months. Believe me, it is the language of austerity which has been shown in the last 7 years, and that is thanks for the leadership of President Sisi for doing that.
Of course,
where
yes.
you go in all different areas, and he's doing it by himself with his government team. And remember, controlling is very important, observing is very important. I believe every day he goes to different areas, different parts of Egypt to open projects, and I believe also the dam from Ethiopia problem will be resolved under the leadership of President Sisi, inshallah.
Yes, Doctor, also another thing I want to also ask you about is the fact that this project is going to hold employment of at least 200,000 people. How's that also part of the plan towards sustainable development in Egypt, the agenda of 2030?
Remember, Egypt Vision 2030 include all different projects for all different ministries, for all different sectors where it has been developed and applied until now. I believe Vision 2030 strategy has been achieved already in a very few years. Remember, since President Sisi came to power in 2014, we are estimated according to Egypt Vision 2030 strategy, it is for 2030 will show this progress. Now, in reality, all of this, it became reality right now.
Yes, of course.
Over 1.5 million acres has been done already. All the infrastructure, new roads, new highway, new tunnels. Remember, we have a surplus from our capacity. That is during only 7 years. And nobody in the whole world, I'm not talking about Egypt, can do the same in a very short period of time.
Yes, very well.
Again, thank you, and we all, as Egyptians, to put hand on hand with President Sisi. And thank him for that.
Yes, very well. Of course, Professor Dr. Sayed Mahmoud Al-Khouli, Chairman of Promotion Committee, High Supreme Council of Universities, and also Professor at Ain Shams University. Thank you for joining us. Moving on with President Sisi, who follows up on the progress of the National Family Development Project. President Sisi met with Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli, as well as the Ministers of Planning, Social Solidarity, Health and Population, in order to review the aspects of the National Family Development Project. Let's take a look.